The Floor Academy podcast is sponsored by Trelama, the trade labor marketplace, where businesses can find skilled trade labor, such as flooring installers, and where flooring installers and other skilled tradespeople can find permanent or project work. You can set up your profile at trelama.com, TRALAMA.com, or download the app from the Apple App Store or Google Play. And remember, Trelama is always free for skilled tradespeople. Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hadeen, owner of Illustrious Hardwoods and a licensed contractor in Phoenix, Arizona. We're here talking with flooring professionals from all across the country about the issues that matter to you. I want to encourage you to learn while you earn. This week's guest is Carl the Flash Leonard. Carl owns and operates Cutting Edge Tile in New Jersey. A part of the Jersey crew that was the first CTI class to have everyone pass, his standards weren't always that high. We spend our time discussing head trash, charging appropriately, firing clients, and just focusing on being a businessman first and a craftsman last. Keep listening so you can transform your business. Carl Leonard, are you on the line?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. For those of you that don't know, this is the Flash. No, not the guy from the comic books. The guy that can put a shower in 20 minutes.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate that. Not quite 20 minutes, but I definitely can throw a shower together in I don't know, good amount of time.
Now, hey, we'll just speed up the footage, okay? We'll time lapse you. It'll be 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, funny.
No, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Why don't you introduce yourself? I'm sure a lot of people are going to know that you are part of that Jersey crew CTI class that
Yeah.
everybody passed, and you guys are the coolest. I get it. Okay, we're
Yeah.
all jealous. But
Yeah.
no,
So
who are you? What do you
I'm
do? And
definitely
how do you do it?
part of I don't know we're I don't know what you want to call us, the Avengers. I have no idea, but anyway, so I took the CTI, and all my classmates, we all passed. I guess we're pretty badass in Jersey, which was an awesome thing. That was definitely a test that I wanted to take, not so much for anyone else. It was just really for me. It really opened up my eyes as far as educating myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I grew up in this business just like almost like everybody else. I'm third generation,
Oh wow.
so I learned from my grandfather and my uncles, um, and I learned a lot of great stuff, and a lot of things I quickly realized after finding the NTCA and CTEF. A lot of things that I was doing was wrong. I was a hack, but I didn't know that because it was I was following behind what these guys taught me, and what we understood. Um, and I got a lot of failed showers out there, failed installs. And I'll be the first one to admit it. I've spot bonded. I'll be perfectly honest. I have spot bonded. I learned it from one guy. I won't name him, but I did learn how to spot bond. Um, and I've installed glass subway tile in a shower with niches, over top of green board, with mastic. I've done that before. I'm pretty sure that shower is no longer in existence. Um, I don't think there's,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We all got
So,
to start
so, so,
somewhere, right?
right. So, I meet a lot of people, throughout the forums and social media, and they think I know everything. I don't know everything. But what I do know, I'm always willing to share.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always willing to learn more in different things. I learn from everybody. I learn from people that have failures. I learn from people that have successes, and try to incorporate those things that I learn into what I do today. So it's all about education, man, and just really pushing yourself to to explore and do different things and try different things with a good amount of information. Don't go into it, trying to push the envelope with no information and no knowledge. That's kind of like that's what you don't want to do.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
you know what I mean. So, but I love what I do. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying this journey that I'm on right now, and I plan to do other things and keep going.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the minute you shut yourself down to learning, you close yourself off from the world, right? Like there's no you
Right,
can't gain anything if this is the way I've been doing it for 20 years and it works and I'm not going to do anything, but the technology continues to move forward
right,
without you. And so you're just going to get
right,
left behind and you're not going to be able to do anything. And I had that mindset, right? Like I finished high school and I jerked around for a while and finally went and did some college, but I didn't really give it an effort and got this degree that means nothing. And
right,
it just didn't like nothing really mattered. Like I didn't care. And finally, when I got into flooring and started my business, it was like, okay, if I don't find out everything I can about this, I'm screwed. And now I'm like avid about like reading a book a month and
right,
researching new products that are coming out and why they work or finding out why this standard is this way and how can I like it's ridiculous, but it keeps pushing you forward over and over and over again and you keep finding these new pinnacles to be at.
right, right,
Whereas if
right.
you're this is going to get us into what we want to talk about, which is I have we all have head trash, right? We all have things that we tell ourselves that are lies or like a belief we have that isn't
Oh
necessarily
yeah,
true. And so the education pulls me out of that and gets me to this next level. Whereas when you're stuck there, you're you're just stuck. Whether you want to
right.
be the guy that's charging, God, there's ads you can get tile removal in my area for 90 cents a square foot. You can get LVP and laminate thrown down for $1.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
cool, man.
yeah.
You
That's
have fun at
wild.
that, right? Like you
Well, well,
that ain't what I'm gonna do it for, but you can do it for
right,
that.
right. You know what I learned? I learned this, and I was going through a time in my business where I had employees. Um, I was overwhelmed with the amount of work I had. I wasn't making the greatest amount of money. Therefore, I went ahead and hired some employees. Maybe I can make some money off of some other people and train them. But I quickly hired a business coach,
Okay.
and my buddy Sal, he asked some really tough questions, questions that I just never was asked before, and he said, what's your percentage of jobs landed? Um, And I told him the number. It was almost in the 90s. Basically, I was that guy. I was that guy. If you called me, there was a high chance that I was going to take on the project, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my numbers were low. I was charging, I don't know, like the average guy, $6 a foot for this and for that, and to put underlayment down, it was like $2.50, $1.75, and it's not that it wasn't done correctly. It was I was leaving so much meat on the bone, so much meat on the bone, right? So I'm flying, and that's how I got a lot of my speed, and I learned how to be efficient was because of the low numbers. And I quickly learned. He told me, he says, listen, here's what I want you to do. I want you to raise your prices 20%. He says, and just raise them 20%. I'm like, dude, I can't raise my prices 20%. So I raised my prices 20%, and I I quickly saw there was money left on the table, and my clients weren't they weren't complaining. My
Mm-hmm.
general contractors, who I did repeat business with, they weren't there was no problem. And after a month, I raised them up another 20%, and I heard a little bit of a buzz from a couple of my general contractors who I did, because now we went up 40%. Um, in a few months, and but I didn't hear anything back from the homeowners, and the homeowners were fine with it. And what it did for me is it enabled me to slow down a bit, do things a little bit better, make a little bit more money. I was happier, which
Hmm.
psychologically
Yes.
made me take more pride in my work, right? Because now I'm making money. It's not like I'm in this job and I know I'm if I have another day in this job, I'm going to lose money, right? So that actually helped me out psychologically, and it also helped me out monetarily. And what it did is those two blended together, which made me do better work, better quality work, and just made life a little bit easier, right? And because I deserved it, I bust my butt every day. I go out, I do great work, and that's why we start our business, right? We don't start a business to break even. I hear a lot of contractors and a lot of tile guys specifically. Um, they complain about they can't buy a saw or they can't buy the proper tools because they're not making good enough money.
Yep.
I see a lot of guys running around with sneakers with duct tape on them. Tools that are broke, trucks that look ragged, and I think it's the psychological warfare that this understanding that because we didn't go to college for this, we are not entitled to make the type of money that electricians make, the type of money that plumbers make, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I very rarely see a successful plumber with a beat up truck. They usually have pretty sweet rigs, right?
Yes.
And God bless them, rightfully so. Because I'm not a plumber and I don't know what it takes to be a plumber, so I've never taken that away from them or anybody else. But we work our butts off, and I figure if you educate yourself and you're about your business, you're giving a strong warranty, you're putting out an awesome product, um, then you deserve to be compensated for that. So charge accordingly. Um, I've had this conversation with a lot of people about charging by the square foot. I no longer charge by the square foot. Um, I
Mm-hmm.
look at a job. I know what it's going to take because I've already got the description of what it is we're doing. I have the square feet. I've got drawings of it. I know the material. I know how long it's going to take me. I know what's involved. I know what I deserve on this job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and I price my jobs out that way. If I were to almost take those figures and break it down into a square foot number just because I need a square foot number, I think I'd be somewhere in the average of $40 to $50 a foot on my average installs. Um, and I don't think that that's out of the ordinary. I don't think that's out of line for some of the stuff I do. Some things are a little less, but at the end of the day, I have to run my business with the understanding of what my overhead is,
Yes.
right? What my expenses are, my insurance, my vehicle, my tools, and take all these things in consideration. Um, so that you can calculate what it is that I need to bring home per day. What do I pay my assistant? All those things calculated so that you can be profitable every day that you leave the office. And that's how you run a business. Of course, there are going to be those days where you're not going to make as much, right? So you're going to spend a little bit more time, or you're going to have to buy another product. So it might take some off of your top end. But at the end of the day, you still made great money, and you know how much it takes for you to exist in this business. And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't take the time to understand it. They know how to install or they know how to do one thing, but
Mm-hmm.
and if there are areas that you don't know how to do, get help. There are a ton
Yes.
of people out here that are willing to help you. You just have to humble yourself up enough to make the phone call to reach out because there are more than enough people out here that if they don't know, they know someone who does know.
Well, it's not just that. There's so many things. So one, you said you're running a business. I think a lot of contractors think, look, I'm just a tradesperson. Well, no, you were a tradesperson and then you started a business. So now you're a businessman that does a trade. And you
Right.
you you have to get that mindset and then humbling yourself. Like, look, I've been doing this podcast over a year. There's I don't know, 70, 80 episodes now. I don't know the exact number, but
Hmm.
that's at least there's some repeat people in there. That's probably like 65 plus people that I've talked to on an individual basis. I reached
Right.
out and I asked them if they wanted to do something, or they reached out to me and said, I have an idea. There are
Right.
so many people in this industry that are willing to help you. All you have to do is ask. And it doesn't even matter if it's this industry. If you see a very successful business person in some other operation, I guarantee you that if you go forth and ask them for help and you show a sincere interest and you put in the work to show them that you're going to actually do something, they
Right.
will help you. You know,
Right.
the first thing they might do is tell you to go read a book. Read the
Right.
book, get back to them and say, "Hey, I read it. I loved it. This is what I learned out of it." And build that
Right.
relationship. But if you don't do the work, you're not going to get anything. But it's the same thing, right? If
Oh,
like if the
yeah.
client hires you and you don't put in the shower or the floor, you don't get paid.
Right. Right. I get that. I get that question a lot too. Is a lot of guys they'll ask me, how do I get these projects? And I've always wanted to do that design or this design, and
Mm-hmm.
you just got to put that work in, right? So I remember my first scribe I did. I did it for free,
Yep.
dude. I did it for free, and you know what? It was the fact that I actually have footage of me doing it, and people were able to see it, and now that I could sell it, you know, and so I had to kind of put that work in order to get to that next level and to start, just doing more creative stuff. Like a lot of my clients will leave the creative design to me, and I've been asked the question, well, how do you how's the client well, they have to understand that what you can do,
Yes.
and they have to see your work. I have GCs where I pretty much design, and they'll let me do whatever I want in the bathroom, do my thing. That's what they tell me, man. Just go do your thing. If the client wants 12 by 24 or whatever it is on the wall, and you just go do your magic, right? So I'll go in, and sometimes I put my foot in my mouth because I'll go a little bit too far, and you know. But at the end of the job, I got to own it, right? So I put my foot in my mouth, and I've got to listen. I've got to keep going now. Listen, I can't back out of it, so I keep going. And at the end of the project, I'll kind of calm down and go, man, that looks great. I
Yeah.
know I probably lost a day and a half or 2 days in here, but it does look awesome. And that I think that's what we do it a lot. A lot of us do it is we love the satisfaction. We get a lot of gratitude and gratification out of this, and the fact that we're actually creating something that someone's going to be using for many, many, many years if done correctly.
Yes.
You heard that, if done correctly.
Yes. That was there.
Yeah, yeah. So it's this is one of those fields that you have to have a love for it, and a lot of tradesmen, they get into that spot where they start to lose the love for the business. And to those people, when you start to really lose the love for the business, because I've been there, right? Um, I always tell them, kind of, if you can kind of switch up, or if you can move things around. So you're doing a bunch of bathrooms. If you can occasionally throw in a backsplash, or throw in a kitchen, or throw in a fireplace to kind of mix it up a little bit, to make it a little bit more mentally interesting for you, I think that does help.
Yes.
Another thing that I like to tell people, because I didn't realize this until late, is really take time, um, to yourself. I understand we need to get the job done, but working 7 days a week, 6 days a week, and being without your family, and not spending time to relax and to do different things on your own. There's a life outside of tile.
Is
Is
there
is
though? Is there?
Yeah, yeah. There should be, but there also should be, there should be, you should draw the line somewhere. There
Yes.
should be boundaries, right?
I agree.
Um, yeah, because I mean, one thing that I realize is you can work your behind to the tail. You can have all the money in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you're sick or you're injured, not one of those clients are going to call you up to check on you, to take care of you, to pay your bills, to do any of those things, right? So I tell people all the time, listen, because I used to work like an animal. I would work 7 days. I would get home at 9. I wouldn't get to see my wife and kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to also realize that you have a family. You are human. You deserve a break. Don't answer your phone after a certain time. My phone goes into block mode at six. I believe it's 6:30 every evening. So if a client does call me, they're getting my voicemail. If someone texts me, that's not in my favorites. I don't get the text till the next morning, right? So my
Right.
phone turns on at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, and it goes off at 6:30. And I've had clients that ask me, "Well, I called you at 6:30," and I says, "Yeah, I was off." Well, what do you mean? They go, well, "Were you at work?" No, I wasn't at work. What am I, chop liver? What am I, 24 hour? I don't got a 24-hour emergency number on my phone.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to draw the line somewhere and understand that you're running a business. You also are human. Don't be a robot. You'll burn yourself out, and you definitely won't love the business anymore. You won't love what you're doing, and you'll just be doing it just to keep going, right? So enjoy yourself, be creative, charge accordingly, educate yourself, and have fun with it.
Well,
And
yeah, look, you got to charge accordingly. You went over, you got to know your overhead and all that stuff. And you brought it up before that it, life is easier with money, right? If we're charging accordingly and
oh yeah,
we're building that bank account, we're building our future, we can build a retirement, which yes, you can do that in the trades. Don't worry, I
oh yes
promise.
you can.
Um, life becomes easier when you can throw money at your problems, right? If an extra bill comes up, a car breaks down, when that bank account is there to back you up, man, it's so much easier because I've hit that spot in my life in the past couple years, and it's really nice. Like the
Hmm.
air conditioner went out, dude. I had the $6,000 in the bank account to go and buy the new AC. I didn't have to get
Yeah,
financing. I didn't have to do anything. Wife's car
yeah,
broke down, fixed it. It's beautiful, but
yeah.
it will not buy you happiness, and that's
Right.
exactly what you're saying, right? If
Yeah.
you spend all your time accumulating the wealth, you're going to lose your family. Your wife and your kids are going to leave you because you're never around, and the money just isn't, it doesn't buy the happiness. So
Right.
go spend the time with them, use the money,
Take your
man. Take
family
them to
on a vacation,
Disneyland.
dude.
Yes,
I've
exactly.
listen to me. I have been there. I'm not going to say taking to Disneyland, but I've
It's expensive. Maybe after
no,
a couple
not
years.
not. Listen to me. Listen to me. Disney. Listen, it's supposed to be the happiest place on earth. Let's be real. Let's be real, bro. When I got my kids at Disney World, I'm ready to kill them. I'm ready to kill them. Me and my wife are both looking at each other cross-eyed. Everybody needs a freaking drink. Okay, listen, that's not the happiest place on earth. Trust me. I'd be better off being in on a beach somewhere, drinking Superman's, watching my kids swim,
Yes,
and
I get it.
and all inclusive. You know what I mean? I'll
Yes.
I'll take that.
Okay.
Disney, nah. Oh, and I say all this stuff from experience because I had the problem in my relationship with my wife, my relationship with my kids. I didn't get to see certain things because I was the breadwinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all grow up that way where I'm the man of the house and I bring the money home. And if that works for you, fine. But also you have to understand is these people that you have at home, they love you, they miss you, they need time with you. And you know, without you, the unit is not complete, and family is important. I don't. The tile is always going to be here,
Correct.
and your family might not be if you keep on acting the way you're acting.
Well, yeah, and exactly like you said, you shut your phone off, man. I'm sorry, but your floor is not my emergency. Like that,
Right,
I don't even in a new build home, like that floor going in cannot be a
right,
big enough emergency to mess up my weekend if I'm taking the weekend
right,
off. Like, there's no reason
right,
I have to be there on Saturday to get it done. You can
right.
function until Monday, Tuesday when I can finish up and like get the grout in or whatever it is that you're doing, right? Like,
Well, yeah,
calm
they
down.
can. Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. And here's the thing with me is I've had clients. I'm in the middle of a job, and hey, are you guys working Saturday? And it's no, Mister Whoever. And well, why not? And my question is, I like to play hot potato. Is when people ask questions like, well, why aren't you working Saturday? And I go, or are you working Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
No, no way. I'm not working Saturday. The office is closed. I go, so is mine.
Yep.
Unless it's something that is spoken about uh, when we are going over the project and negotiations,
Mm-hmm.
and it is understood that I've got a big party or I've got an event coming to my house, and this is I have to have, can you get the project done within this time frame? And I understand that I might have to work this day in order to make sure that we meet the deadline. Um, and if that is already spoken about and agreed upon, then that's so be it. And I will work the occasional Saturday here and there. But
Mm-hmm.
I also understand that I've got three younger children at home, and and a wife, and I've also got a life, and I like I like washing my truck on the weekends, maybe doing an oil change or whatever on my truck. So that allows me that time, right?
Yes.
So and another thing is, even when I used to get jobs done a day ahead, I would push another job forward, and I was known to do this a lot, like a lot. There was no breaks. I didn't under I looked at having a break in my schedule is like almost like I don't have work, but I had always had work. It's just that
Well,
I would push jobs up to kind of speed up the process because my mind was always running like that.
is that when you
But
were
then I would,
charging a little bit, or like what you're charging now? Because I get it when you feel you're not making the money, right? Like, oh, I got to get
yeah,
it in.
it
I
was
got
when
to
I
get
was
it in.
charging not enough. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So what I do now is if I get a job that I figured I would get done on Friday, but we got through it. Everything was running smoothly. We got done on Thursday. I would take that Friday and do what I wanted. If I needed to do paperwork, I would do paperwork. If I needed to do some, pricing and running around, maybe even doing PR work at some of my vendors, just stopping by with a box of donuts and some coffee and saying hello and, you know, thanking them for whatever it is, I would take that time to do that because it goes a long way. And it's just, it was, it was a day outside of the house, but it was also a day that I got some things done. Maybe straighten up the shop, go in the shop, straighten up some things, maybe clean up a little bit, do some things like that, which was light work. And I wasn't doing it all day long, and I was still able to go home and do some other things, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's just really taking the time. A buddy of mine, he used to say, hey, we were working together, and he says, hey, why don't we sit down and eat like human beings? Because normally, what do? We eat on the road. We eat, sit down for 5 minutes on the job site. We slam a couple slices down our throat, and we call that lunch.
Yeah.
And how about we relax a little bit? Just let your body relax, let your brain, recirculate and kind of get away from what it is you're doing. Take a break, sit down, eat like human beings. You'll be happier. Your brain will be refreshed. You can rest your knees a little bit, right, and just
Oh yeah.
keep going.
Well, and
Mm.
you're going to be more productive.
Right.
Pack a lunch and I bring that with me daily. Do I eat it every day? I was better. I've been bad lately, but I was better in the past. And
Uh huh.
I'll take 20 minutes to 30 minutes
Right.
and sit there at the client's table or on the floor, wherever I can kind of find a spot that's comfortable and
Right.
eat it, man. Just slow down, relax, scroll
Right.
through your phone, see what everyone's talking about in the forums on Facebook and
I'll do
tell them
that.
they're idiots and move on. And then, enjoy your lunch and then get back to work. And you're going to feel a little more relaxed. It gives you time to like assess situations if you're stressed out. Like it's not, I'm telling you, no floor or shower is that big of an emergency unless for some reason it's the only shower in their home. But even then,
Right.
give them the hose. They'll be okay.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So I mean, it's just those are the things that I think we learn throughout time. Uh, we learn from going through different situations, and I just like to share those things with a lot of people that they think that what the way that they're doing it is the only way. There are many ways, and really just adopting methods that work for you and are productive for you
Yes.
in your business and your lifestyle is very important. And just even working alongside with somebody, having harmony, um, working with someone that you guys work have similar working habits. You guys can kind of get into a flow or rhythm, as I like to say it. And we really don't have to say too much, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because we're thinking the same thing, and we're on the same page. I worked with a guy for many years who was an excellent installer, but I really couldn't stand his personality, and it drove me nuts. It drove me nuts because it was like we were like oil and water.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and anyone that is in a situation like that, I trust me when I tell you, let that situation go. You'll be so much happier. You'll get so much more done. You'll be so much. Your work will change. Your style will change because you'll be free. And you won't feel like you're in jail. And you know what I mean. You won't hate going to work. I hear a lot of people, I can't stand going into work, and it's almost like working along. You know, if you're in corporate world, you have that one person that sits in the cubicle next to you that you really can't stand. That's just a thorn in your tail,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like that same environment. And working with people that you enjoy being around, that you can work harmonic, or you know what I mean. You guys are working in harmony together, is like the ultimate thing, because everyone's enjoying themselves, and it's not like work anymore. It's almost like you're hanging out with a buddy, and you're kind of, you guys are just putting something together, right?
Agree. And
You know,
it's
yeah,
not I think a lot of people think that there's not the opportunity out there for them, right? Like even if they don't want to run their own show and they're working for somebody that maybe they don't necessarily get along with, man, I
right,
guarantee you, if you can show up 5 days a week and you put in an honest effort, there's somebody that's going to take you on. You will go find a spot at a company you like. Like if it's not a good fit where you're at, you don't need to quit the trade. And this goes out especially to like the new guys, right? Like just
yeah,
because the guy that hired you is a complete a-hole, but if
right,
you really
right.
truly enjoy the trade, don't give up on it. Just go find somebody that's not an a-hole to train you and bring you up, and you're going to put yourself in a better situation.
Well, and to touch on the training part, right? So I'm actually I think this is going to be the first time I've actually taken on someone that actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you mind if I shadow you for a week or so, just so I can learn a couple things from you and yada yada yada."
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage a lot of you younger installers, hungry for knowledge, hungry to learn other things, to reach out to those people. I, for one, you know, am one of those guys where I would love to have you work alongside of me and work with me. I can share different things that I know, and also at the same time, I'm learning something about you. We're gaining a friendship, and you know, we're learning about each other. So it mixes it up for me also. And we're able to, you know, we're sharing everything, you know, and I think that's something that is available to us because of social media. We're able to reach out and find all these great people that have a lot of different things to bring to the table, and we all can learn. So you know, if you're kind of in a stuck place, and you see these guys out here that are doing things, or girls that are doing things that you're like, wow, that is amazing. How are they doing this? Reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pretty sure they'd be more than happy and willing to share with you and to take you on, for whatever amount of time, and really work along with you. Because I know, me for one, I know I am, and many people reach out to me asking, and not many have actually, you know, followed through and come and worked alongside of me. But I'd love to have anybody, you know, reach out to me and come work with me. So I'm easily to catch. You can find me anywhere. I don't hide. My
Yeah.
number's all over the internet.
Well, look, you could take Jeremy Bickett, for example, right? Like he left
Yeah,
Indiana and he's over in Washington now working with Stoneman. Like that's
dude. JB's I now worked alongside of that guy, and I'll be the first to say the guy can throw down. And I first met him, I just looked at him, and we were talking, and the first day we worked together, I realized how much of a slob he was. And I say it because I love the guy to death, and he's not as bad as he was. The guy's pants can stand up on their own, right? And I go, Jay, I go, dude, look at me. It's the end of the day. You've got thin set all over your hoodie. It's all over your pants. It's everywhere. Your hat everywhere. I get up. I got a white, I got maybe like a little spot on my sleeve or something. And he goes, dude, how do you stay so clean? I go, you see that bucket of water right there? I go, that thing is your friend. Listen, you
Oh,
don't have to work like a slob. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You can, and I learned that from working with other guys like Danny Gannett and other people that, just your presentation, the client is watching you, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you leave the job, it should look clean. Just even though you're not done, I know, but it doesn't look like a tornado went off in the bathroom, right? So clean up.
Yes.
When you clean your grout joints and you clean the thin set out of your grout joints, it makes it so much easier on the grouter. Now I'm not going in and scratching out joints and or scratching a tile or chipping a tile. Everything washes off cleaner when wet. Trust me when I say you don't have to beat your mixing paddle off with a hammer. You can actually spin it in a bucket of water,
Oh my goodness. Never knew.
right? And your tools actually do operate better when they're clean. I don't know if it's psychologically or if it's actually been proven in science. It's almost like your car, it just seems to be smoother when it's clean, right? So I guess
Huh. You're
aerodynamics.
this is all foreign to many many guys. It's you know what it's funny though. Okay, so I've always kept my stuff clean. I keep my trailer organized. There's been times where it became just a complete barn in my trailer. And I
It
noticed that
happens.
my job started going worse.
It happens. We all get there. When I work late at a job because okay, so that last plank job I did the scribe with the black hex, I left that job at 8:30 p.m. because I didn't want to have to come back the next day to work about 2 hours. So I stayed there till 8:30,
Yeah.
and I can rest assured, the back of my pickup truck looked like a bomb went off. As long as it fit underneath that tunnel cover, I really did not care what it looked like until the next day.
And then
Okay,
you were
but
mad.
so well, and then I quickly realized that I have to clean it all up. So I
Uh-huh.
was in there wiping tools down, polishing. I mean, wiping down my pack out boxes, cleaning off this and that. There was nothing crazy, but it just wasn't organized like it usually is.
Mhm.
And I'm very organized because I work out of a pickup truck. And even when I had my van, I still was pretty organized. I find that being in the pickup truck, and a lot of guys say, "How do you work out of a pickup truck?" And if I were to show you how organized I am, it actually causes me to be even more organized.
Yes.
I know what project I'm going into, so I will pack the tools that I need. I never really have things that I don't need with me. I don't. I never bought a box truck because I felt like it was having my shop on wheels, and I don't need to be rolling around, 8,000 pounds of gear when I don't need it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I will go into my shop and I've got a demo pack out. I've got, a pack out to do heated floors and shower prep. So it's got my weedy sausage gun in it. It's got my knives for, Schluter and banding. It's got everything that my mega meter, it's got everything in it, right?
Well,
And so I
everything,
keep
yeah.
everything. Yeah, I keep my bins for different things. I've got a lippage tuning bin. I've got this and that. So there's a box with all my core bits. So it's just staying organized. Because I remember growing up in the business, and I worked with my uncles, and they would have a van, and they would ask me to go get a tool, and they say it's behind the driver's seat, underneath. If you lift up a drop cloth and you go behind this, and it was buried, right? It was
Yes.
buried.
Correct.
There was sand on it. It was rusted. I'm going like, how do we organize chaos?
Yes.
I, and it's so much easier when you have things organized and you just take the time to organize it. You'll be so much happier, be so much more efficient. You'll buy less tools. Because you'll be ruining less tools or losing things, right?
Mhm.
And just makes your life so much easier. You don't look like you have no control or, just are this wild, bizarre, guy. I roll into a client's house. I've got buckets. I've got this. I've got that, and I roll my pack out right into the garage. I've got everything I need. I'm nice and organized. my helper, my assistant, make sure Stephanie make sure all the tools are cleaned at the end of the day, wiping the bucket down, because I adopted the phrase "clean it like I'm going to return it to the store."
Yes. Love it.
Okay, so if you clean it like it's going to get returned to the store, it's going to be pretty clean. There's no misunderstanding in that. Everybody understands that, right?
Hmm.
You know, and that's really it because tools are expensive. They're not cheap.
They are. I don't
You
want to
know,
buy more. So,
and it doesn't matter if you won the tool or it was given to you. It's still expensive to replace.
yes. No,
So
it's I 100% agree, right? Like a place for everything and everything in its place. But this
right,
this all goes back to the beginning where you're saying charge more. Okay?
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
presentation matters. And the minute
oh
you
yeah,
show up and you have a clean looking truck, a clean trailer, a clean box truck, whatever it is that you're traveling with,
right,
and then you show up and you bring in these clean looking tools and
right,
you clean up the job site at the end of the day and you treat somebody's home with respect,
right,
that all comes with a cost, right? Because now you're only
right,
installing for 6.5 hours a day because it's 45 minutes of setup and 45 minutes of
right,
breakdown.
right,
Well,
right, right,
you're technically getting less done, but you know where everything is. So like it's
right. And you're
uh
charging accordingly. You're charging accordingly. You feel better about it. I've actually had uh, potential clients. I pull up to their home and they see my truck and they go, "Oh God, you got to be expensive," or I hand them a business card. "Oh,
mhm.
you got to be expensive." So those people right there that say things like that or go into these situations with that mindset, that, their words speak volumes to me. I'm watching them because to me it screams that you either don't um you don't it, almost like you don't think that I deserve to make a certain wage, or
Mhm.
I should be cheap, or I should pull up to your house in a raggedy truck because that means that I'm inexpensive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be professional. If we're doing demo, I'm gonna treat your house as if it were mine. We're going to put zip walls up and kind of put plastic walls up. I'm going to come in with an air scrubber. We're going to have drop cloths everywhere. We're going to pull the drop cloths at the end of the day. Take take them outside. We're going to shake them. We're going to fold them, and we'll start back the next day. So we're going to make sure that your home is taken care of. But that does come at a cost, right?
Yes.
So my air scrubber costs me money to run. The filter, the HEPA filter that needs to get replaced frequently, is $150, right?
Yep.
And then there's the stage two, there's the rough filter. Those are expensive. Plastic costs money. Those zip poles, they cost money. Those drop cloths, they cost money. So I don't do it for free, and there will be a charge on my quote for doing those things because I am charging you so your house is not a mess, right? You have a clean environment that you can sleep in. Your bed doesn't have dust all over your sheets, right? And
Mhm.
that comes at a cost, and a lot of trades don't charge for that. You should be charging for that, okay? You should be charging for that. Make sure you charge for that because it shouldn't be something that you absorb. If you go to the auto mechanic, you will look at the invoice that he gives you and it says shop fees or shop material. It will say shop supplies.
Yes.
You are paying for the grease. You are paying for the sprays and the solvents and this and that. You are paying for it. Charge accordingly. It's not for free. It is not part of the job. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
So, but it's all part of running a business and making sure that you make money. You're not losing money. And
Correct.
don't be afraid. But here's the thing: is don't be afraid to do it, or don't feel as if you cannot charge that because you can charge that.
Yep.
And if the client doesn't want to pay it, that is not the client for you. Trust me when I tell you, if if at best you just explain it to the client, if they bring it up, they will understand. And that's really it. I've had to explain it to a client before.
Mhm.
You get the client that you give them a quote to do a job, and then you go in, and now there's two corner shelves sitting next to the tile. And I'll ask about the corner shelves and where do you want them installed and yada yada yada, and how do you know, and and then I'll bill them for it afterwards. Well, why'd you charge me to put the corner shelf in? Well, because I put them in.
Yeah, that's not in the original bid.
Right. Well, isn't that part of your job? Well, sure it is, but we get paid for it. It's not that it's not part of my job. It's that I have to charge you for it, right? And it's not that I'm going to nickel and dime you, but you are well aware that on the paperwork that you read and signed, it did not include that, and now it is here, and now you want me to install it, so now I have to charge you for it, right? And fair is fair. I'm not saying I'm going to nickel and dime you or anything else like that. I'm not going to charge you extra because I use extra screws or another 2x4, but this is what it is, right?
Well,
So just being fair to you, being fair to your business, and understanding that you are providing a service that has to be that you have to be paid for your services.
Correct. And I look, you mentioned nickel and diming, and I think a lot of guys and gals feel that when they have to start breaking down everything, right? Because we say there's lots of talk about breaking down your estimate and explaining what's going on. Okay, you got to talk about how you're going to do the demo, how you're going to do this, how you're going to do that, right? Like explain it.
There's
Not only well, yes, but you need to break down the project so that the client knows what they're getting, you know what you're doing, and everything is accounted for. Okay, so there's a cost to everything, like you said. So if you're gonna have to put up zip walls and buy plastic and lay out tarps or whatever it is that you're doing, explain what you're doing and how that cost breaks down. I'm not saying you have to say that, okay, the tarp cost me $20, so I'm going to charge you $25.
Right. Don't do that.
But you need to have a project description. You need to explain what these things bring to the table and why there's a total charge. And look, I'm a square foot guy. You'd get mad at me, but I broke my all my square foot prices down into my day rate. I know I kept track of what I can get done in a day. So everything, it all breaks down that this is what it costs. And that's just how I do it. But then I can break down, this is what you get with this service, this service, this service. And if they want to take something off, it's easier for me when somebody asks for that discount to say, well, what do you want to move? What do you want to take off? Do you want to take off? Are you going to remove the carpet yourself? Are you going to take out the tile? Now I can start, okay, where's your budget number? Do I just do the install? So that's the game I play. And everybody does it different. I don't care how you play the game, but you need to have a description so that you can charge accordingly.
Well, and also, having a description, it really gets rid of, the misunderstandings. Oh, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Or this is what I meant. And you didn't figure for that.
Correct.
Also, another thing I like to do with a lot of projects, especially if we're going to do the demo, right? So we're going to do the demo in the project, and I have no idea how many layers. Well, I know how many layers we have to rip up. But I'm not sure what this floor is like underneath those layers. And I will always plant the seed verbally and on the quote that self-leveler or this service might, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to put it in there because I'm not into overcharging people and then not using that service, not providing that service. So I will always plant the seed once we pull up these layers. Floor might require leveling. Wall might require rendering. Whatever the situation is, I like to plant the seed verbally, and I will also put an asterisk and put a notation on the quote, just so that it's not something that is kind of thrown at them towards the end, or they feel like they're caught off guard with it. I want them to be prepared for a worst case scenario, right?
Yes. It's the way people ask all the time, what's that going to be? Well, I don't know until I see it. It could be no money. It could be 10 grand. And they're like, what? And I'm like, your foundation could be cracked and the stem wall's ruined. And there's a huge, who knows? Like, I don't know until I see it. And so I've seen 0 and I've seen 20 grand. I'm going to tell you it's 0 to 10. And, I'll put, sometimes when people get really worried about it, I'm like, look, I'll put like a $1,500 contingency on here, and if we use it, we use it. If we don't, we don't. But that way, it's at least budgeted for, and if we don't use it, we take it off, and that sometimes makes people feel a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got to play in the middle with it a little bit, and it's safe. And I just think, I think people, for the most part, what I've understood and what I've realized and learned throughout businesses, clients don't mind paying for quality. They don't mind. It's if you really think about it and think about yourself, I don't mind paying for a great meal when I go out to a restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
but don't charge me this astronomical price and you hand me this 1 ounce steak. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's just not gonna fly with me. The little cutesy frou stuff and all the little frills, you can save it. See, listen, I don't mind paying $200 for me and my wife to go out to dinner to a great meal, drinks, but it's got to be worth it, and people want their money's worth, right?
Yes.
and
Correct.
and and and, and also understanding your client, understanding the market that you're in, where you are, what sells in that area. You have to understand those things, and those things come with education. It comes with just being on the ground for a while. And you get the guy that says, give me a great deal. I've got 5 more people to refer you to. And trust me when I tell you, you charge that guy full price.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do every
You
time.
charge him. Make sure you charge him full price, because that's one right there that brings up, dude. That's like a neon light to me.
Well,
And I just go,
yeah.
yeah. I
Look,
just go, yeah. Okay, I'm
y-
selling the house in a couple months. Yeah, okay.
okay. Fine. You know what? Look, I'm gonna charge you full price for each
Yeah,
referral. I'll give you
yeah.
2%. Right? Like that's how you
Right,
work that deal out.
right,
You
right.
got to give them something. I don't play that game either. Right? Oh, I got 20
Yeah,
people. Oh, I talked to everybody in the
dude.
neighborhood. Oh, I'm gonna put you on the community Facebook page. Cool.
Listen to me.
When that happens,
I fell for it one time. I fell for it one time, and it's like the guy that calls from the phone book and he goes, "Hey, I want you to place an ad with us." And I go, "What's your guarantee?" And he goes, "Well, there is no guarantee." And I go, "Well, why should I invest in over here with you?" You know what I mean?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you can't guarantee me. Like, come on, this cut it out. I'm too old for the games.
Yeah. Well, so
You know?
yeah. Well, and this is good. I want to go a little backwards now. Okay, so you said
Uh-huh.
you got that business coach. You raised your prices 20%.
Yeah.
A month later,
Yeah.
you raised them 20% again, and some of your
Yeah.
GCs were like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
So how many?
I lost some of my GC. I
That
actually lost a
yeah,
couple of them.
that's what I want to know. So look,
It was actually a good thing.
well,
I
and
didn't
that's
cry.
right. Well, okay, that's it though, right? Like that's the thing. If you want to raise your prices and you want to start competing in a different part of the market than you were before, and I encourage
Yeah.
everybody to try and compete at the top, but it won't work out in the end. But not many people are actually going to do the work to get there, so I'm not too worried. But if you have to fire some clients along the way.
Oh yeah. And what was the really cool part is, one of the generals that I was doing work for, and I always loved doing his projects. Um, he thought, well, he didn't want to pay me more. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to pay me because, and I kept on asking him. I says, well, why aren't you charging more? You should be making money off of me. You should be making money since he bought all the materials. And I found out quickly that he was giving the
Oh,
setting materials to the client at his cost.
yeah.
And I talked to him and I says, what makes you think that you can't make, you shouldn't be making more money? You're charging more. And he says, well, I don't think we have that. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we have that reputation yet. And I looked at him and I says, listen, your work is phenomenal. Your projects are phenomenal. I've never heard any client say anything bad about you. What do you need in order for you to feel comfortable charging accordingly? I said, do you need a plaque? You need someone to come up to you and actually physically,
Mm-hmm.
tell you that you've reached that level. You can now charge, like a green light. And I just looked at him. I says, "Listen, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. You're actually stealing from your family,
Yes.
my family, and I can't do work for you until you raise your prices." So I actually left him. We walked the separate ways, and he went out and he had the opportunity. to try some other installers. Um, and then I realized after 6 months, I believe he called me back, and he called me because he had a very, very intricate project that, the numbers were in my, were good for me. And I slowly began to work for him again.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just became everybody else just kind of fell to the wayside, and I'm actually able to make money. I actually did those two bathrooms that I just did recently. It was two bathrooms I did in 6 days. Both of them were, weedy showers. I built the benches, niches, and then Floored-U-Cation on the floor. One of them had Dietrich heat. It was with mosaics and everything. And you know, I did those jobs and I got them done in 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
I made great money. Could I have taken longer on a job? Yeah, but those jobs were easy for me. Stuff like that is just easy for me. And that's another thing that I like to tell people is finding what they're profitable at. You got to find your niche. You have
Yes.
to understand where you're profitable at. So for me, big projects are not for me. I'm a volume guy, but volume with some creativity and quality. But I know that I make good money or my best money on 3 to 4 day projects.
Okay.
That 3 to 4 day bathroom is very, very profitable for me. More so than if I were to, someone was to give me a bathroom with two showers in it and a big jacuzzi and all of this and that. Those jobs they tend not to be so profitable for me. But everybody has to understand what they're profitable at, what they're most profitable at. And stick to that. I know that worked for me. I kind of understand that, if you're profitable making donuts, stick to donuts. Don't go make bagels or
Yes.
anything else like that. You know what I mean? Unless, you just don't care about the money part. You just want to do it just because.
Yeah.
Um, but it's important. You're running a business. You need to make money. But you also need to put out quality. So you have to find that perfect blend right there where you're profitable, you're putting out quality, you're using the products that you want, which is another thing. I don't let any of my clients nor GCs pick the setting materials
Mm-hmm.
or the prep materials that I am going to install. None of them. I don't allow anyone to, because if I have to warranty it,
Yep.
why would I let you pick something so that works for you, a product that you like because of the cost, but I know it's not as good. So I picked the best product for the situation at hand.
Yes.
And and it's going to cost what it's going to cost. This is the cost, and but I'm also going to guarantee it for 20 years, and that's my warranty is 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and I've learned that. I did a couple projects where I let the GC prep the bathroom, and I quickly regretted it,
Yeah.
because I had to make up for what he didn't do or did improperly. Um, he maybe it's because either that was okay, that those were his standards, or because it wasn't mine, you know what I mean? And he didn't know exactly what it is that I wanted, or he wasn't going to do it the way that I wanted. So leave the prep, you do all the prep and the install. Now you're responsible for everything, right?
Yes.
And it gets it eliminates that well, the shower's leaking, yeah, but I didn't do the shower pan liner, the plumber did. Well, you still got to come back and demo it, like, and then the plumber, like, come on, man, I'm responsible for a whole thing or nothing. Like, get out of
Yeah.
here.
No, I'm with
you
you.
know,
It's so
and
much
because
easier.
it's
It's
finger
cleaner.
pointing, yeah, and then becomes finger pointing, right? Well, it was fine when I did it, and then you came in and you probably messed it up, and no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, that's just ridiculous. So I
Yeah.
I I feel better doing my own prep. I know it's going to be get done the way that I want it done, and I'm responsible for everything all the way down to the studs. Done. It's easy.
Yep. No, it makes sense. And then picking your own materials, you're going to feel safe. You get to make the money on the materials. Like,
Well, I've got
look,
more control
people,
over the situation.
that's
I've got more control over
exactly
the
it.
situation,
If they're going to
right?
call us, they're calling for a professional. And this is what I've like, when I came into the business and I found these online groups and I saw a bunch of people talking about this stuff. And so me starting my business has been a lot easier for me, I think, than some guys in the past that have learned the hard way. But immediately I was like, oh, they called, like, if everyone's talking about how they hired a professional and they called you, you need to go in and control the situation. You can't let
Right.
them start picking, here, we're going to
Right.
do this over here, we're going to do that. No, no, no. You
Right.
called me. It's my way or the highway. And if you don't want to do
Right.
it my way, then we're not going to play ball together. And that's why
Yeah.
I have my prices set the way they are, because I know how long it's
Yeah.
going to take me. I know
Yeah.
what it's going to require. And so, and look, we're talking about charging more money. And I look, everyone should charge more money. But
Yeah.
as Carl has said, you got to do the work. You can't keep being the hack and charge top tier prices. You have to do it to spec, warranty it. You've got to put on all these extras. He's backing his
Right.
showers for 20
Right.
years.
Right.
So out of his own pocket, that's your bank account
Right.
doing it. Whether you get
Right.
Schluter or Weedy or whoever to stand behind you is another story, but you're
Right.
putting up your own
Right.
money on it. So
Eh,
that you got to
Well,
provide it.
the other thing is stop doing things that you know are wrong, for the sake of getting the or winning the bid.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for Martin Brooks and Mark Heinlein and some other people that I spoke to about a project that I did years ago, and I I reached out to these guys because of the education, right? So they had a lot more knowledge in certain areas that I did not, and um, they advised me about a part of this project and the way that the specs were written from this one outfit for me to walk away from the project, and I walked away from $150,000 exterior project, and I thanked them because had I done it the way that it was written,
Mm-hmm.
it potentially could have put me out of business and under a jail had one of these tiles sheared off of the building,
Yeah.
the way it was written for me to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
the GC looks at me. He says, I can't believe you just walked away from $150,000. And I says, well, it wasn't in my bank account. I said, and the potential for one of these tiles to fall off of the building, the way that you guys have this thing written, and for me to do it, I says it would put me. I says, for one, somebody could die or get seriously injured, and I said, the risk isn't worth the reward, right? So I get sued for 2 million, and I made 150. Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Nope.
So I have no problem walking away from. I have no problem walking away from a potential problem. I don't like problems. I don't like issues. And that is the worst thing. I don't take chances. Like when I was younger, I used to take chances. First, when I was early in my business, I took chances, and I don't advise you to do that. I've you know repaired showers where I've taken out the first two bottom courses and the sill and replaced the bottom of the shower pan. But what happens at that seam that you just took out? How do you fuse your waterproofing into what was existing?
Mm-hmm.
Now you've taken on responsibility for everything that was done wrong above that area. Legally, you have, and it's not worth it. I've taken out shower doors and rehung them. I'm not a glazer, man. I've had
Yeah.
shower doors explode on me. What did I charge for to remove and reinstall the shower door? $350. Well, how much is a shower door? Oh, it's only $1,000. What? So what happens if I break it?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
See, we've all taken those chances, right? Installed toilets when I know that I'm not a licensed plumber. So if it leaks, I just made $200 on removing and reinstalling the toilet. Then it leaks, and I've got $5,000 in damages. What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
What's the insurance company going to say to you? They're going to say you're not covered, so you can't make a claim. Now the homeowner is suing you personally. Dude, it's a mess, right?
Correct.
So to make that $200, you just took a $5,000 loss. Not to mention lawyer, downtime, aggravation, a loss of confidence, blemish on your name and everything. Oh man, it's not worth it. So, I advise to people just to make better decisions on what it is you take on. If you do tile, do tile. You're not the sheetrocker, you're not the spackler, you're not the trimmer, you're not the painter.
Yep.
Leave that to those guys that are more profitable doing it that way. And maybe you can hire someone good and make some money off of them. Your client is happier for it. Your projects are, your turnaround time is a lot better, right? So now you've wasted less time and you can be more productive on the next project while these guys are finishing it up. And you can make a couple bucks off of them, right? And you're better for it.
I love it. It makes so much sense, right? Like, I want to use my bank account to back my work the least amount possible. It's just silly.
Right.
So, I like having the bank account. I don't want to file an insurance claim. I'd rather be able to go and say, oh, that's ruined. Here, we're just going to pay for it and we're going to move on. But nobody wants to do that. So you got to make calculated risks. I get that, but you don't have to do the stupid thing every time, and you definitely don't have to do it to get ahead. It took,
because we come into the business understanding that we can wear every hat, right? Because we've seen the guy that we learned from wear all the hats.
Mm-hmm.
So right, and so therefore it's a learned behavior.
Yeah,
and
sadly.
it's also a pride thing, right? It's also a pride thing. I don't need you. I can do it myself. Well, I'm pretty sure you can do it yourself, but would you be more efficient and more profitable by hiring me to do it, and you could be doing something else? Well, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so why don't we do that, right? I can work on my truck. I can change my brakes. I can do my oil change and all the rest of that stuff. But there are certain things that I just, the mechanic, he has all the tools. I don't have to go out and go get, that tool. I don't have to run back and forth to Home Depot to get plumbing fittings and this and that. So why am I playing plumber? I don't have the correct tools. I'm not licensed. I'm not insured to do it.
Yeah.
So why am I doing it?
Well, it's a time thing, right? Look at it. How long is it going to take you to work on your car? Whereas if you went and worked on a shower, what's the exchange, right? Like, at some point you have to look at, is my time better invested elsewhere? If I do that, instead of spending 2 hours on my brakes, if I do 2 hours of advertising and that books me out for another month, where was my time better spent, right? Like, now I'm going to put 20 grand in my pocket versus spending $200, $300 at the auto repair shop. I don't know. I think that the couple hours of advertising was a better trade-off, but you have to make that exchange. Once again, it goes into, you have to learn to be a business person first and the craftsman last.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's learned, but I think a lot of us we have to go through these situations first in order to realize that there are other ways. There's a better way of doing things, and being open to it, and being humble enough to say, hey, I need help. There's got to be someone who's experienced the same thing that can help me out, or at least listen to me and point me in the right direction. And that goes a long way, but you have to be ready to receive it. We are out here, and there are people out here that have the experience and have the knowledge and understanding and that can help, but you have to be willing and ready to receive it.
Yes.
And we're all here to share. Despite what you might see on certain forums, a huge majority of us are here to help. And we want to see you grow. We want to see you be profitable. You are not my competition. I've heard that several times. Stop. They tell me all the time. They used to tell me on Instagram all the time. Stop sharing videos. Stop sharing secrets.
Yeah.
You're killing us out here. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Listen. No man can take your job unless you are slipping, bro. It is real simple. It is simple as that. Be on your game. Be on your job. I learned that at an early age about with girlfriends. Guys say, "Oh, he took my girlfriend." He didn't take your girlfriend. You lost your girlfriend.
Yeah.
He ain't take your job. You lost your job. It's real simple.
Look, How many? Correct. I 100% agree, dude. And I mean, the girlfriend example is a great example, but it's like, look, okay, everyone gets mad. Like, you're showing these homeowners how to do tile themselves, blah, 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 blah. Look, most of them are going to try and they ain't going to want to do it. I know I hate painting. I know how to paint. Look, if I got to go buy the $20 Purdy brush and I got to cut in a corner and I have to go real slow, like, can I do it? Yes. Do I want to? No, I'm going to pay the painter.
Hey, would you take an advanced class? Most people, they use that blue tape. And then they peel the tape back, and then they've got all kind of, like, paint oozing through it.
Correct. You can't... look, there's... I can figure out how to paint nice. I hate painting. Hire the painter. You ain't going to lose your job because you're showing your potential clients and your Facebook page and your Instagram account how to install tile properly. Some people are that way and they want to learn. Okay, look, Sal DeBlasi has his channel and he helps not only homeowners, but he's helping tile installers be better. Right?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
It's both, but
right.
He hasn't lost any business. In fact, he's gained it. If you give people knowledge, they know you're the person to hire.
Yeah.
Stop thinking stupid about this.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually, that's one of my things that I do when I meet a potential client is I educate them as much as I possibly can, everything that I can give them. And I let them know, even if you don't choose me,
yes,
you can always say that, I gave you education to make the right decision for yourself. And I want the client, and I tell my clients all the time, you need to make the best decision for yourself and your situation, and your financial situation. I could give you all this information and my number might be outside of your reach, and that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have the information that I gave you to make the best decision for yourself. And with me doing that, I've had clients that didn't choose me for the project, but referred me to someone else.
Yes.
Right. And it is okay. It doesn't mean, and just because a client doesn't pick you because your number is higher, doesn't mean that you're too high. It means that they can't afford you.
Yep.
That's what it means. That's the only thing that it means, right?
And it feels good.
Yeah, it does. I tell people all the time. I says, listen, I want a Porsche. Like I want a GT4 or GT3. Great, $116,000 car. It doesn't mean that it's too expensive. It just means that I can't afford it right now.
Yeah,
I'll get it, but
you gotta get rid of them 3 kids first.
Yeah, man.
Oh, too funny.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you 100%. All right, I gotta be a jerk, and I'm gonna get probably yelled at for cutting us off because it's a great conversation. But
this is awesome. It was great. I'm enjoying myself. I love to do it again. It's just like we're talking business. Man.
Yeah, no, I love it. And this is what the industry needs. That's why it's here. I honestly, it was created because I wanted more business knowledge, and where am I gonna get it? I gotta go talk to people, so now everybody gets it.
Yeah,
but where can people find you? How do we contact the Flash? How do we find your work? All that stuff.
So I'm pretty easy to find. I mean, you can find me on Instagram at Cutting Edge Tile. You can find me on Facebook, same thing, Cutting Edge Tile, or you can find me at my website, which is Cutting Edge Tile NJ.com.
Oh, you didn't get it first, did you? That's do you keep a lookout for that to see if it comes available ever? So that you can just be cuttingedgetile.com?
The Cutting Edge Tile NJ?
No, well, yeah. So, yeah, do you keep a watch out for cuttingedgetile.com to see if you can ever get it and it expires? No. All right.
No. New Jersey is fine because, well, the NJ for New Jersey is fine because there are other cutting edge tiles out here. There's like Cutting Edge Tile and Marble, which I get some of his clients call me and they say, hey, anyway, I'm not even going to do that to this guy. So anyway, there's a couple of them, but I will let it be known that I am registered with the state of New Jersey. So my name is trademarked, and no matter what the rest of the name says, it's not me. So
right whatever. On. Very cool. Awesome. I thank you so much. I honestly, I learned a great. We'll do this real quick, and I may have mentioned this on here before. I originally had my name as AZ Hardwoods, and there was a company here in Phoenix called Arizona Hardwood and Floor Supply Company. So I got even though the corporation commission for my state like approved the name because AZ is in Arizona, the lawyer sent me a nastygram. And
really?
so, yeah. And so I called up a lawyer and I was like, hey man, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, that's an interesting case. Like that'd be fun. I think you could, there's a chance you could win. I was like, cool. What do you charge an hour? At like $400 or $500. He's like, no, $350. I was like, so can we win in 2 hours? And he was like, well, no. I was like, all right, well then I'm just gonna go file the paperwork to change my name and get new business cards because that's about $700.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier doing that. Yeah.
So lesson learned, but it's
man.
there's fun things out there. So yes, make sure once again be the businessman first, craftsman last, and file the proper paperwork and double check things.
Yeah, man. Always.
Oh, all right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your family. Thank you for your time. I very much appreciate it.
Kyle, I appreciate you as always, brother, and we will talk soon. Thank you so much.
Good. Yep. Bye, Carl.
All right, guys. Okay, bye.
That's all the time we have for this week. To keep the conversation going, head on over to the Floor Academy Facebook group. Be sure to subscribe so you can hear each and every episode. We can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and most major podcast directories. Don't forget to leave a review and let us know what you think about the show. If you would like to be a guest, have questions or feedback, you can email us at flooracademypodcast@gmail.com. You can help support the show by becoming a patron over at www.patreon.com/flooracademy. Remember to learn while you earn.